What's up, people? It's YourTotalWarMaster, and this is my top 5 Total War games. Of course, it's a personal decision. You can't really. I mean, there are some better games, there are some worse games, in general, like objectively. Thrones of Britannia sucks. But still, of course, I have my own opinion. It is totally biased. You will probably disagree, so comment down below what you think. Let's go. Coming in as number 5 is Total War Attila. Now, this game kind of divides me. In some cases, I like it. In some cases, I don't. Now, let's start off with the things I like. It has very good mods, and of course, expansions. I mean, the Age of Charlemagne was probably one of the biggest expansions, like, best well received, I guess. And of course, the 1212 AD mod for it is absolutely fantastic because I'm not the biggest fan of this time period that this game is in. I prefer playing Rome 2 because of the time. Because I like to play as Rome. It's a unique faction and everyone wants to play as Rome. But I don't want to like keep it together once it's already a huge empire, but I want to start off from scratch, start off from 1, 2, 3 cities at maximum and then expand. Because Total War Attila in general is a very different game. It has a very different campaign uh, when you compare it to other Total War games. In other Total War games, you are supposed to expand as fast as possible, and that's it. But in this one, it's more of a survival themed uh, Total War game. It plays differently in campaign. In battles, not so much, but in campaign, it's very differently. I don't like how the settlements work, how you rarely have walls at start. I don't like the sieges. To, they're okay-ish, but they're not very good. Uh, what else? Uh, as I said, I don't really like the time period. It has decent mechanics. It is a bit buggy. I don't like that you can't divide armies around. You have to be having a general, etc. It's not one of my favorite Total War games, but it's still a decent Total War game with the interesting mods, interesting expansion packs, and yep, that's number 5. At number 4 we have Total War Rome 2. I guess the Emperor Edition because Rome 2 at its launch was in absolute shambles. It was an awful game, but I think they patched it up pretty well, and I think it deserves number 4 spot. And I think actually in some views it's worse than Total War Attila in gameplay wise, but I highly prefer the time period. I like playing, as I said, as Rome and expand it, make it a big empire. And I think this is basically the main reason why I prefer Rome 2 to Attila, because the time is just, I don't know, I feel more intrigued to it. I feel more connected with, building the Roman Empire, and probably that it's an expensive campaign and not a survival campaign as Total War Attila is. In many cases, very similar games. As I said, well, I think that basically Attila is to Rome 2 what Barbarian Invasion was to the original Rome. But of course, back then it was an expansion pack. Now it's a separate game because, well, EA likes. Sorry, not EA. EA also likes money, but Creative Assembly also likes money. Everyone likes money, so they did it like that. It has some awful expansions. I think that what is that one that Legend of Total War made a meme out of? Desert Kingdoms or something. I don't know. It has some decent ones. I like the Wrath of Sparta. That's a good one. But yeah, in general, an okay game. At launch, it was awful, but I think it was patched up pretty well. So number 4 goes to Rome 2. Number 3 goes to Shogun 2. An interesting, a bit different, I think, take on the Total War because not only the uh, time period but also the place where it takes. Mostly Total War games are based in Europe, and then you have a bit in America, some Africa, some Asia. But this one is, of course, in Asia, in Japan, And I must say I haven't played this game a lot because I don't actually own it. I played it at a friend's, and it's a very interesting game, similar to Medieval 2. I think it's very similar to Medieval 2 in like mechanic based. I heard that it has very interesting sieges. The thing that does bring it down a bit is probably the unit diversity. They're pretty similar units mostly, not a lot of different types. But yeah, I'm basing this opinion not so much on my experience, but from what I saw and what I heard. So I think I should actually buy this game at some point so I can play it more. But yeah, I think Shogun 2 is probably the last Total War game that's like really good, like chronologically looking. Rome 2 decent, Attila decent, Thrones of Britannia. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a very good game. Not the best. I think also I don't connect with the time period and location as much as I do with the first two that will be on the list. But yeah, definitely an interesting game to pick up, and you should go and try it out because I should also do that. Coming in at number 2 is Rome Total War, the original one. Uh, Now, it's probably a lot of nostalgia. It's probably mostly nostalgia. I mean, not mostly. It's a very decent game, an amazing game to be honest. I do feel it is a bit outdated. Um, Graphics are so. Pathfinding is kinda awful to be honest in this game. The AI is not the best, but the time period is amazing. The detail they did, like those wonders of the world, and you can actually see them on the both campaign map and also when you fight. I think in some battles which are close to those wonders, you can actually see them on the battlefield in the distance, which is amazing detail. Also, I like how they had that button when you can like click on it and you go inside the settlement and just walk around. I mean, walk around, check around what's going on, seeing citizens around, what are they doing, see how your town is growing. Actually, I like, of course, I said. I think I already said that. I like the time period, of course, Roman, and I do very like the idea of having three different houses of actually four if you count the SPQR. But you know, the Julii, Brutii, and Scipii were the three houses which you picked, and then you conquered most of the Europe or the known world, and after that, someone betrayed someone in the Rome, and then it was a civil war. It's interesting. It really made something else because normally all the Roman factions just destroy everyone, and you actually were fighting against then two you yourself as one of the Roman factions, and then against the two other Roman factions. There were three kingdoms or empires, whatever, and fighting each other. A really interesting scenario happened over there. As I said, a bit graphically poor, a bit outdated. Nostalgia is definitely there, but an amazing game. You can run it on a freaking toaster probably, which is also good. Also, very good expansion. One very good, one very bad expansion. Good one, Barbarian Invasion. Bad one, Alexander, because it was rushed. So yeah, number 2 goes to Rome Total War, the original. And coming in at number 1 is a bit surprising probably, but Total War Empire. It has the biggest map that was ever done. The game was not buggy at all. Very good mechanics. I think it was very well balanced. Ah, who the fuck am I joking? It's Medieval 2 Total War. Just an epic game. My favorite time period in a Total War game. I think Rome is the second favorite, like, time period. But this one is my favorite. Because, the knights are just freaking epic. And it's interesting. It has a lot of evolvement through itself in the campaign. You start off with levy troops, etc. Then you go up to the real knights. Then you get gunpowder. Then you go also to Americas and stuff. It develops itself through the campaign. It also has the mechanics I like moving troops around whenever you want. You don't need a general to take troops somewhere. I very like the Crusade thing. It makes, you know, a difference. The Pope thing, it's annoying. The Pope is annoying, but that's part of the challenge. And I think, you know, the AI is, if you play correctly, if you don't play to exploit the AI is pretty darn good. Probably one of the best AIs in a Total War game. Of course, if you try to exploit it, it will derp out completely. Like, you know, if you have a spy in a settlement and they don't have any archers, and you have a shit ton of archers, they can have, I don't know, like a full stack of infantry, and they won't kill a single unit of yours, because all you can do is they'll go to the town center, you go there, you shoot them with your archers, of course, volley after volley. You have to like shoot a volley, stop shooting, they'll go back to the town square, shoot again, and like it is a, you know, grind, but you can really exploit the AI if you want to. But if you play like correctly, like a true historical strategist would play, then the AI does very well against you, and it's, you know, quite a hard game at some points, you know. But yeah. Anyways, I enjoy the mechanics. I enjoy the gameplay. It's not that buggy. I mean, it has exploits, but I don't count that as bugs. It's not game-breaking bugs or anything like that. I love the hot seats. It's one of my favorite parts of this game. I mean, love. To be honest, I have been a bit overplaying them, and I don't enjoy them as much. But they are still an amazing addition to a Total War game. So I think Medieval 2 Total War is the best Total War game ever made, and I am looking forward in the not so near future to Medieval 3, which hopefully will live up to its potential, although I am very, 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 very not optimistic about that. Of course, I can't forget to mention all the mods, starting out, of course, with the expansions, the kingdoms. 4 very interesting expansions: Americas, Crusades, Britannia, and Teutonic. Americas is so-so. Other ones are very good. And the mods are still being made in the year 2019, which is, I don't know, more than 10 years after it was released. So number 1 goes to Medieval 2. Thank you very much for watching this top 5 Total War video. This has been your Total War Master, and if you've enjoyed and you want to see more things like this, make sure to join the Pleb Army with liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. Also, as I said, write down what are your top 5 Total War games. Maybe I'll do the worst top 5 Total War games. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, fuck off.